person. I'm on this continuum with all of you. So whether you're a new elite, or you're a seasoned blue diamond, or you're a presidential, we're all in this together. And we're all here because we have a vision. And that vision was born of an incredible group of people who have inspired us so much this weekend. So I just hope to contribute a little bit to some of the understanding and to sort of share my story and my witnessing of what I see with doTERRA. So thank you for letting me speak to you today. That glow. So GLO, if you look in the Urban Dictionary, it refers to swagger. That's not quite what I'm getting after when I talk about the doTERRA glow. A glow girl, now that is Tiff and Gregor Ryan. That's somebody who's ride or die. They are loyal for life. That kind of starts to capture it, but it's a little bit more. Glow, G-L-O-W, that in the Standard Dictionary, that means to radiate light, flameless light. Still don't quite feel like that gets there. So if you could grab your rose oil. Give you guys a chance to find some. Ellen has some back there if you need it. Put it on your wrists. Put it in your hands. Get it up into your elbows.
Yeah. Oh.
Put it on your heart.
It's getting a little crazy here.
And then I just want you to breathe with all of this together. 3 very, very deep breaths. What frequency does rose oil resonate at? Woo-hoo! 320 megahertz, right? That actually, on David Hawkins' map of consciousness, that is the level of willingness that's emotionally equivalent to hope and to optimism. So take another really deep breath. Tiffany Carroll tells us that these oils show us who we are. In this moment right now, you are hope, you are optimism, you are willingness. And an oil can do that. It can change you like that. And that change is amazing, right? But then those molecules start to dissipate, and it smells a little less strong, and the feeling goes away. So how do you sustain change? Does anybody want to change themselves? Does anybody want to be a little healthier? Do you maybe want to change your rank? How do you do it? What's the science behind change? How do you sustain this? How do you sustain that vibration, that glow? How do we get there? Well, there is a science to it. This is rather dark and gloomy, but they say you'll never change your life until you change something you do daily. The secret to your success will be found in your daily habits. I mean the success in changing. Your daily habits. What's a habit? Write this down if you can. A habit has 3 components. There's a trigger, a routine, and a reward. So if you want to change something about your life, you need to look at your daily habits. Your trigger, your routine, and your reward. Some of our habits are healthy, some of our habits are unhealthy, and some of our habits are mindless. But habits serve a purpose. They decrease your cognitive load, so you don't have to think about all of these things. So if you really want to have control, and you really want to change your life, you'll start to look at these habits. You'll start to look at how you could take more control over them. This is actually something I'm extremely passionate about. I had to completely transform my life. I was going to die if I didn't change drastically. This is me 5 years ago. I'm the medical director in the neonatal intensive care unit at the University Hospital. This was a 20-year career in the making. In this picture, I'm standing over a 500-gram, 24-week neonate. The baby's not breathing, its heart's not beating, and it's my job to insert a tiny little tube into its trachea to start it breathing. I'll then coordinate the efforts of 9 other people to jumpstart its heart, and I'll hope as I go that its skin stays intact, that I don't end up with bleeding in the brain, and that I can get this baby from my resuscitation suite into my NICU. And this was my life, every day, for 20 years. So what did that look like? What were my daily habits? Because you could probably imagine that if you're going to live that kind of a stressful life, you want to match that with some really healthy habits. Not so much. I slept in my clothes with a pager beside my head. My clock's at the foot of my bed. When the pager went off, I flew out of bed, I jumped into my shoes, ran through the bathroom, toothbrush across my teeth, hair on top of my head, ran down the stairs, grabbed a day-old bagel or a handful of cereal, jumped in my car, and Heather loves this part. And if I was lucky, there was a half-drink bottle of Diet Coke in the console. That was my daily habit. 100% there for those babies, every day. 0% there for me. And my number one strength, achiever. But let me tell you where it got me. Because it wasn't enough to be the medical director in the unit. It wasn't enough to be the youngest woman promoted to that. The money wasn't enough. It wasn't enough to edit magazines. It wasn't enough to work for the Sheikh in Qatar. It wasn't enough to develop women and children's programs all over the world. It wasn't enough to be flown everywhere to do work. It wasn't enough. I was digging a hole. I was climbing a ladder and digging a hole. And the ladder of success took me here, and my lack of self-care dug a hole that was deeper than I could ever climb. So I found myself, 5 years ago, driving home from work. I hadn't slept in 4 days, hatching a plan. I was going to get out of this. It was too much. I looked down at my phone in traffic, and I saw I had 1,500 new emails that day to go through. And it felt like too much. And here was my plan. I was just going to end it. That was all I could figure out at that point. Just stop. Just be done. There's no way out. You're in over your head. And I had to make a choice right there. Tony Robbins says that we change in an instant, but we only change when it's too painful to stay the same. And it was too painful to stay the same. So I had to drastically change everything. My 14 years of higher education, I'm a Stanford trained neonatologist. 14 years of higher education, I had no idea what self-care was. Nothing. Western medicine had failed me as a physician. It had failed me as a learner. It had failed me as a teacher, and it had failed me as a patient. So I had to find something that was going to save me. This will be kind of a drastic change, but it might have been a wellness period. So, you never would have been able to convince me 20 years ago that this was a solution. This seems so simple. I wouldn't have been able to process this or understand it. I had to be in a place where nothing else had worked. I had to learn the hard way. And I share this with you, maybe because I know you already know all of this, or maybe somebody else could avoid learning this the hard way through this process. Or maybe you're working with somebody who's in a position like I was, and you could share this with them so that they could understand that there's a lot to this. So when I look at this, here's how I understand it. What does it mean to eat right? I had no idea at the time. If I told you what I ate, I mean, it was Diet Cokes and whatever I could find. But to eat right now, to me, there's a million diets, and I can stand on a soapbox and tell you what I think, but here's the truth. It's about eating real food. It grows on trees, it grows out of the ground, it doesn't come from the center aisles in the grocery store, it's not in plastic and in boxes. It's real food. And exercising, I used to think that was about burning calories. Exercise is about a mentality of movement. It's about respect for your muscles and your joints and your body. It's about moving. Whether that's yoga or walking or Orange Theory, it's about respecting your body. And rest. Now, as someone who has spent years not getting enough sleep, sleep is really important to me. Did you know that if you're getting less than 6 hours of sleep a night, you're aging twice as fast as those of us getting more than 6 hours of sleep a night? Your sleep is critical to your health. Don't just take it from me. There's a lot of science around this. So who knows what a telomere is? Telomeres are the caps on the ends of your chromosomes. They're like shoelace caps on the ends of your shoelaces. They keep your chromosome from unraveling. Your chromosome is where your DNA is held. It's kind of an important part of what makes you you. If you are not sleeping enough, what they've shown is that your telomere caps are shrinking. Telomere cap is equivalent to lifespan. You're shortening your lifespan. They looked at this in stress as well. And as someone who was in adrenal fatigue 5 years ago from chronic stress, this makes a lot of sense to me. But they actually studied telomere length in women with a known stressful position, women who were caring for chronically ill children. And what they found, same thing. Consistently, almost across the board, their telomere lengths were shortened, correlating with the amount of stress they were under, which means their lifespan was shortening based on that stress. except in a couple. There was a very small cohort in that group they studied under just as much stress as everyone else. And in that cohort, the telomere length was preserved. They weren't short in their lifespan, and they were in the same conditions. And what they found when they looked at that cohort, they had hope. They had optimism. They were still willing. They were resonating at 320 megahertz. They had a glow about them. They held on to something that the majority of people can't. And finally, reduce your toxic load. So, I don't know as much about this as a lot of people in the room. I get it though, right? Plastics, parabens, these hormone mimickers, these things are wreaking havoc on our body, and it's kind of a mystery. We're exposed to so many of these all the time. Sometimes by choice, Diet Coke, sometimes by choice. But it's having an effect on us. And if you look at just this lifestyle, just these first 4 parts of the pyramid, just the lifestyle choices, if we're not eating well and we're exercising too hard or not enough and not sleeping, too much stress, too many toxins, what's the result in the body? It's inflammation. We have signs and symptoms of inflammation. And that'll make more sense when we talk about free radicals and what that does to your cells. Don't fall asleep. But all of these things are resulting in some sort of inflammation. And although they didn't teach me this in Western medicine, inflammation appears to be at the heart of almost every disease that we face. So this is dangerous. This is a really dangerous way to live. It's dangerous to be mindless. It's dangerous to have habits that you're not thinking through. It's dangerous to have some of our unhealthy habits. Can you relate to any of these, or do you hear people saying any of these things? I can't sleep. I have more aches and pains. I get sick more easily. I feel emotionally down. I have less vitality. I'm forgetful. My skin looks so old. My hair is lifeless. These are sort of ambiguous. Maybe signs of inflammation, maybe signs of a lack of vitality. doTERRA has a vitality assessment tool. Just bear with me on this. I'd like for everybody to grab your pen and just look at these categories. And please just rate yourself and be honest. My sleep is satisfying and I wake feeling rested. Is that always you? I live a life free of chronic aches and pains. Always? I have a strong immune system and I resist getting sick. I'm emotionally balanced and not stressed or anxious. I have energy and vitality throughout the day. My mental focus and memory are quick and sharp. My skin and hair are healthy and beautiful. Did anybody in the room not check always me for every single one? If you did not check, stand up. If you did not check always me in every single category, stand up. Just take a second and look around. Because this is a room of really, really, really healthy, high-vibe people. And in some category of your vitality, there's an opportunity for improvement. Okay, guys, sit down. So when we look at that pyramid, at the very base of the pyramid, we have sort of the base of our healthy habits. What's the most dangerous daily habit? What do you do a couple times every day? Everybody does it. It's your nutrition. It's what you're eating. It's what you're choosing to put in your body. So this is scary. 11 million people, 1 in 5 people are dying every year from poor nutrition. And I don't mean they're starving. I mean they're making poor food choices. That's at the heart of so many of our diseases. That's what we can stem heart attacks, strokes, cancer, diabetes, so many things that we're plagued by can be traced back to our nutritional choices. Maybe I'm at fault, me, the doctor. Did you know that MDs get less than 4 hours of nutrition education in 4 years of medical school? So according to Dr. Greger, who wrote the book How Not to Die, there's a conspiracy. He thinks maybe, I don't know, the Dairy Council and Big Meat, they don't want us to know much about nutrition. I'm not gonna go toe-to-toe with any of those institutions at this point. And I don't know that I believe in this, because really, when's the last time you were at a hospital and you looked around and you're like, wow, these doctors look so healthy, I'm gonna ask them how they eat. I don't know about you, but the doctors I worked with and what I felt like back then, I was not the pillar of health. And there's a real irony in that. How long did I say I went to school? And I didn't know about my own body, my own mind, my own spirit. There's a real disconnect. So there's people in this audience, and you may have stood up, maybe not, and you may be saying to yourself, I eat a really healthy diet, 12 servings of fruits and vegetables a day. I'm good, right? I don't know. It looks like if you're standing up or relating to some of those symptoms I described, you may have some of the symptoms of micronutrient deficiency. Our food just isn't what it used to be. They tell me from soil depletion and GMOs that when my grandmother ate an orange when she was a kid, it was 8 times more potent than an orange I could get my hands on today. So what does that mean? 12 servings of fruits and vegetables a day and I still could have micronutrient deficiency? In that situation, some people choose to supplement. Now, there are people in this room who know a lot more about supplements than I do. What I know is that the supplement world is confusing, it's complex, and it seems like sometimes corrupt. I think it's important as you're picking your supplements, if you choose to do that you know what you're trying to treat in the body. So I go back to this wellness pyramid and the result of poor eating and not sleeping enough and too much stress and toxic overload, inflammation. How do I treat that? Well, let's look at a cell. Okay, this is biology class, so I'll sleep on them quickly. So this is a healthy cell. And I just want to point out this nice membrane that's intact. The mitochondria are your metabolic powerhouses in here. And then you have your nucleus, your nucleolus, and that's where your DNA are. This is a healthy cell. So what damages our cells? Free radicals. Free radicals are generated from the sun, UV radiation, pollution, cigarette smoke, stress, lack of sleep, poor diet, all the things we're sort of addressing in that wellness pyramid. And what do? They attack the membrane of the cell, they attack the mitochondria, they attack the nucleolus, and they attack your DNA. And let's remember that DNA is the blueprint of your next cell. And cells are turning over all the time in our body. So let me just give you a real life example. Let's say this is a skin cell. Skin cells are turning over every 28 days. So if the DNA or the mitochondria or the membrane of my skin cell is damaged, what happens? In 28 days, I don't have a normal skin cell that comes up. I have a freckle, or a liver spot, or a broken blood vessel, or I have cancer. And I just said that word. Because this is how it happens. So free radicals are damaging our DNA. How do we treat it? What is a free radical? You can see where it comes from. Free radicals are these they are these wild, unbalanced electrons that are stealing electrons from balanced molecules and creating more free radicals. What treats them? Things that can donate electrons. Those are antioxidants. So we hear antioxidant all the time. What's an antioxidant? Name one antioxidant.
Blueberries.
Okay, blueberries are a fruit.
Clove.
Clove oil, great. So antioxidants are vitamin C, vitamin E, vitamin A, astaxanthin, resveratrol, green tea polyphenols. I sound like I'm listing out the ingredients in the Alpha CRS. Yes. Okay. But all of these things are antioxidants and they donate electrons, so they quench these free radicals. Our bodies need antioxidants in order to protect ourselves from these free radicals. So let me go back to the cell thing for a minute. You have 100 million cells that are dying every minute in your body. That might sound depressing, but it's not. Because that means you make new cells. So if you're tired of those cells on your face, in 28 days, they're all going to be new. But I want you to think about that for a second. What do those cells get made out of? They're made out of what you eat. I'm sorry, Josie. They're made out of what you absorb. So you really are made out of what you're taking in, what you're exposed to. And I love this, right? So new skin cells every 28 days. New red blood cells every 120 days. You're going to have a new liver in 5 months. Woo! Woo! Right? That tequila, go on. In 20 years, you're going to have a new heart. So the choices you're making today, your daily choices, your daily lifestyle choices, what you're eating, is going to determine the function of that heart. So in 20 years, when the people around you are complaining of congestive heart failure, they're having heart attacks, they've got high blood pressure, that could be traced back to decisions that they made every single time they sat down to eat for 20 years. This one's for Tiffany. So you might be saying, kale sucks. Not all of us think that. You might be saying kale sucks. I don't think think I can eat kale even for a healthy heart, and that's okay, because take a deep breath. There are a lot of ways to protect your body. Some of that is nutritional, and there are other ways. So I want to talk about a program that is in place that can really help to support your health in a number of ways. But first, I'm going to let you watch this video of a really funny guy, and this is from corporate, so enjoy.
Uh-oh.
He's coming. Oh, it's different now with Harrigan.
Hell?
Nope, slide before that one.
It's inevitable. We all get older. With age comes some, well, let's call them challenges. For most people, the list is similar to mine. Low energy, joint discomfort, and poor sleep. If we want to make a difference in the way we feel, we need to do our best to live a healthy lifestyle. Eating right, managing stress, and being active are a great place to start. Even when we do all of this, there are gaps. doTERRA's Lifelong Vitality Pack is designed to support the healthy aging and longevity of cells while helping you to feel younger longer. The science backs this up. But science is boring, so I'm not going to go into all that. For me, what's important is how I feel, and it starts with Alpha CRS Plus. It was formulated to target two major things that impact our vitality: cellular energy and cellular longevity. Like I said before, the science is boring, so I'm not going to talk about how the Alpha CRS Plus cellular energy blend facilitates the production of energy when cofactors like CoQ10, alpha-lipoic acid, and ginkgo biloba leaf extract transport electrons that bind with phosphates to promote the creation of ATP, or what the body uses as fuel. That would take way too long. And to be honest, it's not that interesting. What I will say is that about 20 days into taking the supplements, I noticed that I had a lot more energy than before. And to me, that's not just interesting, it's amazing. The other big challenge as we age is discomfort. Together, Alpha CRS Plus and Z Omega work synergistically through the cellular longevity blend of polyphenols like boswellia resin and turmeric extract, and Z Omega's proprietary combination of fatty acids like omega-3, 6, and 9 pomegranate and egg oil. Wow, that's a mouthful. Who wrote this? It's great. I think, can we leave out the part where the active compounds support a healthy cellular inflammatory response through a positive cascade within the cell and surrounding tissues that launch the production of prostaglandins, which the body recognizes as discomfort? The video's going to be a lot better if without it. Does that make sense? Okay. I just don't want to pack too much into this. I have more energy and my body feels great. That's the power of doTERRA Lifelong Vitality Pack. In addition to Alpha CRS Plus and Z Omega, Microplex VMC is a balanced food nutrient complex formulated with standardized bioavailable forms of essential vitamins and minerals. To get all of the vitamins and nutrients found in just 4 capsules of Microplex VMC, you would have to eat all of this food. You also get a balanced blend of essential antioxidant vitamins A, C, and E, and an energy complex of B vitamins, as well as chelated minerals including calcium, magnesium, and zinc for optimal bone and metabolic health. Regular use of Alpha CRS Plus, Z Omega, and Microplex VMC, combined with eating right, exercising, resting, and managing stress, will support the healthy aging and longevity of cells while helping you to feel younger, longer. doTERRA is so confident that you'll feel more energy and vitality when using the Lifelong Vitality Pack. They guarantee noticeable results within 30 days, or you get your money back. No questions asked. Discover for yourself why millions have made the Lifelong Vitality Pack an essential part of their healthy lifestyle.
Bottom line with the science that I get when we look at things with multivitamins. People who take multivitamins have fewer signs of cellular damage. We went through the details of what cellular damage looks like and what it results in. People who take multivitamins have fewer signs of cellular damage, so let's just walk that out. Cellular damage. Cells are damaged from free radicals. Cellular damage results in damage to your DNA. Damage to your DNA can result in inflammation, in cancer, in heart disease. People who take multivitamins have fewer signs of cellular damage. That's like drop the mic, I'm done. So Jodee studied this. Have you guys all seen this study?
Mm-hmm.
So the argument to the study is that it's maybe small scale, it's qualitative. It's still kind of impressive to me. They looked at a 2-month trial period of people who took the Lifelong Vitality Pack, and they had them do a sort of a subjective survey on how they felt in these different areas after 2 months. Anything with an asterisk above it means there was a statistically significant difference before and after the study. So what they saw, this is published, you could find this. What they saw was a significant improvement in back pain, a significant improvement in muscle pain, a significant reduction in cloudy thinking, which is really interesting, an improvement in motivation, reduced colds and flus, a reduction in anxiety, significant reduction in frustration or that feeling of being out of control, less irritation. People felt more in control. There was an improvement in how balanced they felt. And the one I love is people felt significantly more happy after being on the Lifelong Vitality Pack for 2 months. Who in the room takes the Lifelong Vitality Pack? Woo! So, do you ever forget?
Yeah.
How long until you know? Larry's like, oh. How long till you notice it? What happens when you forget? What starts? Yeah.
I get very moody, angry, my mood completely lands down.
You know, which is interesting because neurotransmitters they're not like made and then left in your brain forever. They're made in the moment, right? So if you're not actually feeding the precursors to that, it makes sense your mood might really be affected. What other things do you notice when you forget to take it up?
Knee pain.
Knee pain. So like more inflammation? Yeah, so immediately if she's got that cellular reaction, that oxidative damage from not having enough antioxidants in her joint, she's going to feel the pain there. Do you see as I'm talking about this, and you might be talking to someone who's complaining of knee pain, moodiness, inability to sleep, that there may be some solutions in these supplements? So this is the science. This is what they have for us. I wanted to share a testimonial, and forgive me for those of you that were at the Healthy Habits Tour in Portland, because you would have heard this before. But it's the story about my mom, and I really enjoyed telling this, and I was pretty profoundly impacted by this. It's always different. You know, you can have your own experience with things, but when someone you love has a pretty profound experience, it really impacted me. My mom's 74 years old. 10 years ago, she was carrying my 6-month-old daughter down a set of concrete stairs and she tripped. She did everything she could to protect my daughter's head, and she did. But in the process, she ripped the front off the shin of her leg. The skin just sheared. It ended up becoming gangrene. She lost all of that skin. She had to have a skin graft. She didn't walk for 4 months. I mean, it eventually it kind of healed. It looked a little mangled, but it healed. And again, didn't walk for 4 months. So fast forward about 10 years, and last February of 2018, my mom started taking the Lifelong Vitality Pack. After about 6 months, she had lost 40 pounds. She was off her blood pressure medication. She was off any of her antidepressants, and that's not the testimonial. She was in Forks, Washington with my dad. The sun came out for a very brief second. She jumps up and she's like, let's go on a hike. And she trips down a bunch of stairs. And that same leg with the compromised old skin graft, she ripped the front of it off again on the stairs. So they go to the hospital, this tiny hospital, they staple this back up. Great. They go down to the wound clinic she'd been at 10 years earlier, and they look at her and they're like, lady, this is going to become a chronic wound. You won't heal. I love it when we do this to people. You won't heal. I'm not sure if there's anything we can do. And my mom's like, well, why don't we just graft it again? And they're like, you're too old. Your vasculature isn't strong enough. It was already a graft. It was already all these negative. And mom's like, well, what if we just try? Well, yeah, we just don't think it's going to work. So in order to try to get it to the place where you can put another skin graft on it, you have to debride the wound, and then you put a wound vac on, and you try to grow the tissue up so it's the same level as the surrounding tissue. And that tissue grows in such a way where it has to get enough nutrients and enough oxygen, and it has to be really, really healthy before they're going to take skin off of something else and put it on there. So they tell her, this is probably going to be 4 weeks before we're going to know. She goes back into the wound clinic 4 days after they place the wound back on, just to get it readjusted. And they take it off, and they look up and they're like, oh my God. So the tissue had grown up to the level of the surrounding tissue. It was as red as they wanted it to be, meaning it was well oxygenated. The little blood vessels had grown all around it. And shockingly looked at each other and they were like, I guess you're ready for a graft. And they're like, but I don't think it's going to take, you're probably not going to heal, you're going to have contractures, you may never will. And my mom was like, I'm ready for a graft. And that's not really my mom. She's not like going to tell a doctor what to do, but at this point she's like, I actually think I'm good. Like, I'm ready for the graft. So she got grafted. My mom was completely healed within 4 weeks, walking, and she's fine. What's fascinating to me is the difference. She was 10 years older. It took her 4 months to heal the first time. This injury happened to an already injured area. She's 10 years older. She healed faster and more completely than she did the first time. And the tissue, looking at her tissue, it was remarkable. To me, that was such a sign of cellular health, that it could regenerate. That's what your body is supposed to do. That's what we're designed to do. A healthy body can heal. And it did. The other reason I think my mom healed so fast is because she believed she was going to heal. And she believed she was going to get better because she had been on this lifelong vitality path for almost a year. And she had already seen where nothing else would work. She was getting healthier, she had lost weight, she was off her blood pressure medication. She believed in herself. She had a routine around taking her lifelong vitality path. She believed it was making her better. And no doctor that looked at her scary leg could convince her otherwise, and they didn't. So I think that's both a testimony to the incredible nutrients in the lifelong vitality path, but also to that routine, where my mom had changed her beliefs around her health and what was possible. She believed that she could heal. So you guys probably know the 3 components to the lifelong vitality pact. I'll just give you my sound bites on how I think about each one of these. Alpha CRS, he talked about, this is your cellular vitality complex. This is all the antioxidants. When I was listing them off like that, these are all the magical antioxidants. And they're whole food based. They're not synthetic, which means your body will absorb them. There are dangers to trying to take in synthetic antioxidants. It's not the direction you want to go. The Z-omega essential oil complex. This is basically your omega-3s. In most of our diets, we get 20 times more omega-6. Omega-6 is pro-inflammatory, and we have to balance that with the omega-3s. Omega-3s are like fish oil and flaxseed oil. But how many of you have taken a fish oil supplement before and you burped up the taste of fish oil? Awesome. It was probably rancid. Those oils also undergo oxidative damage, but not these oils. These oils are complex with clove oil, which I heard somebody mention when I asked what an antioxidant was. 1 drop of clove oil is equivalent to about 3 pounds of carrots and antioxidants. And that's what's in this supplement to protect the oil from going rancid. And then finally, the Microplex VMZ. This is your food nutrient complex, 22 essential vitamins and minerals. And what sets this apart is that it's bioavailable. If you've ever taken a 1 a day or whatever those single multivitamins are, and you feed an hour later and it was bright yellow, that's expensive urine because you're not absorbing any of that. Those synthetic vitamins are foreign to your body. When the vitamins look like food, when they come from food, your body can absorb them. And that's the difference, is that they're bioavailable. So what does this have to do with your glow? Your glow, though. So that glow is kind of what I talked about with my mom. My mom believed she could heal. That's a way that we believe in ourselves. That's a glow. My mom's tissues were healthy. She was glowing from the cellular level out because she took care of herself at the cellular level. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that frightens us most. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, and fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? Yes. Your playing small does not serve the world. There is nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We are all meant to shine. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. How are you dimming your light? How are you self-sabotaging? When you forget to take your lifelong vitality pack? When you go for the Diet Coke? McDonald's French fries? It's no judgment. I do it too. But it is an opportunity to think for a minute. How am I self-sabotaging? How am I dimming my light? How am I not going for my glow? And we talked about change and how to transform ourselves and our lives. And it's not that complex. It starts with your daily habits. Your habit. Trigger, routine, reward. It's about changing the trigger, the routine, and the reward. So, think about Megan's talk from last night. She's talking about something really powerful, right? She's talking about manifesting. She doesn't just say, here's some wild orange. Go manifest, does she? She gives you a habit. She gives you a trigger. Here's some wild orange. She gives you a routine. Say your gratitudes around this. Be thankful for things you don't even have yet. Visualize it. And she tells you about the reward. She's not selling an oil. She's sharing an effective routine. There's a really big, powerful thing right there in the way that we apply these to ourselves, but the way that we share them with others. So think about your morning routine. Maybe today, maybe you got up for yoga, maybe not. Are you living as high vibe as you possibly can be? What do you do on a daily basis or what can you do on a daily basis that can profoundly affect the way you feel, look, age, and show up in the world? So Lori mentioned this. Tiffany and I got together about 6 months ago and started talking about skincare. I run a little skincare clinic, and what I know is that 80% of how somebody's skin looks is related to what they're doing at home. It's related to their skincare routine. But despite that commercial on TV that's telling us that 90% of women have a skincare routine, it's not true. Maybe 5% do. And even then, I don't know if it's effective. So we started talking about routines. We started really looking at the doTERRA skincare products, which I was a naysayer too. I have access to all these pharmaceutical grade skincare products, and I was like, these things are over the counter, they're not gonna work. I was totally wrong. I had to eat all those words. There's amazing research that's gone into the composition of each one of the skincare products, and it's more information that I can go into right now. But what we really developed was the habit, so that we could talk to people about establishing a healthy, effective habit that would profoundly affect their skin health. And as I show you this, it's not to say this is how you do your skin. It's to say you could develop habits for people. You could develop routines for people on things that you know well. So as I'm doing this, think about something that you do kind of feel like an expert in. This is a copy of the routine that we share with people. And let me tell you how different my daily routine is now. I don't keep my clogs beside my bed anymore. As a matter of fact, I've banned clogs from my life. I wake up without an alarm. I sit on the side of my bed. I put a little balance on my feet. I go downstairs. I drink a large glass of water with some lemon oil in it. I eat real breakfast. I take my lifelong vitality supplements. I come back upstairs and I wash my face. This is amazing. 5 years ago, no way. But here's what it looks like. I start by looking in the mirror and I set an intention and I say to myself, I'm going to give myself 10 minutes this morning and 10 minutes tonight. These are my minutes. I then cleanse, scrub, tone, treat, soothe, and protect. So I cleanse my face to get rid of the bacteria and the dirt on it. I scrub my face to get rid of those dead skin cells. I tone my face to reset the pH. I treat my face with the brightening gel because it has 20% ascorbic acid that will actually lighten, brighten, and tighten your skin. I then hydrate and soothe my skin with some antioxidants, and I put sunscreen on. Yeah. And then I look in the mirror and I say thank you. To me. Thank you to me. Thank you for giving yourself 10 minutes to take care of yourself today. And that is my little baby gift when somebody asks me, how do you use doTERRA? How is the skincare? Does it work? I don't think if you were an expert on sleep, again, and I handed you a bottle of Serenity, it would not put you to sleep. But if I said to you, this is your trigger, here are healthy sleep hygiene habits dim the lights, decrease the temperature in the room. Don't look at anything with blue wave light for at least 4 hours before you go to bed. Try your serenity. If I created a routine for you, I would be giving you a real gift, something that could profoundly affect your daily habit. And your daily habits are what are determining your health. So I think what I'm saying and what I'm learning is that it starts with you. And wherever you are in this business, the beginning, in the middle, wherever, it starts with you. It starts with your self-care. It's authentic when you work to capture that glow. Maybe we don't stay there all the time, but you've seen speaker after speaker after speaker come up here and shine with it. It's within your grasp. And when you have that glow, it's not just that you're giving other people permission to shine. You kind of have a responsibility to show them how. This is an essential oil company. We're building a business. But really, we're healing ourselves. We're healing others. It's powerful. And I say that to you almost like a torch. I'm an MD. I got to earn that. And I'm saying to you, maybe it doesn't take an MD to heal other people. The doctor of the future will give no medicine, but will instruct his patient in the care of the human frame, in diet, and in the cause and prevention of disease. So without an MD, as not a doctor, I think the world is waiting for you. Heal yourself, and you'll be so ready to heal others. That's what I have.